I like to start lying down. So go ahead and find a comfortable position on your mat. And it doesn't have to be lying down. I know I always suggest that, but it could really be anything that feels comfortable to you. So sometimes people like to bend their knees with their feet on the mat and kind of let your knees rest together, your arms maybe at the sides, maybe really spread out wide. Your arms could be nice and wide. You could be lying on your side. You could be sitting up. No one can see you. It doesn't matter what you're doing as long as it feels comfortable. So go ahead and find that comfortable spot. Close your eyes if they're not already. And just start to slow down a little bit. So settling into that familiar feeling of your yoga mat. And the more we come to our mat, the more our mind starts to kind of know the drill. We're creatures of habit. So your body starts to become familiar. I come to my mat, I shut down, I let go, I relax. So allow that autopilot to kind of go on and let your body go through those steps that it takes as you transition into your yoga practice. So deepening those breaths, relaxing the shoulders, slowing down the thoughts, almost like you're observing your thoughts, kind of like little clouds. Thoughts come into your head, you can kind of look at them and then just let them float on by. It would be impossible to completely turn off our thoughts. So I'm not telling you to do that, but just not attaching to them as much. If something pops into your head, you can kind of just say, okay, I'll do that later, rather than thinking on it right now. So practicing letting those thoughts sort of drift by without attachment. Maybe you set an intention. So thinking about something that you want to focus on for this next hour here on your mat. It's always a great way to keep you even more present and less likely to get pulled in a different direction by your thoughts. So go ahead and set that intention. Maybe it's finding peace, finding balance, relaxing, letting go, healing, anything that sounds good for you. Let that be your intention this evening. Take one more deep breath in through the nose. Big exhale out through the mouth. So a really nice cleansing breath. And then on the next inhale, start to draw the arms overhead, taking a full body stretch. Point the toes, maybe wiggle them a little bit or roll your ankles, wiggle your fingers and your wrists. And then on the next inhale, let's draw both knees in towards us, wrapping our arms around your shins. Give yourself a little hug. You can make circles or move side to side, whichever feels more comfortable to you. So little tiny circle movements with the knees or a gentle back and forth. And then we're going to go ahead and place the feet on the mat. So keeping your knees bent, extending that right leg. Start to raise and lower that right foot. Each time you inhale, the right leg comes up. Each time you exhale, it goes back down. Go ahead and do that a couple times, stretching through the back of the leg. And the next time you lift the leg, bring the hands behind the leg. Start to draw that right leg towards you. Maybe even lifting the upper body up so that your nose is coming towards your knee. And then gently placing the head back down on the mat. Take the right foot, place it on the left knee. So kind of like you're making a triangle shape if you were to look at your legs. Extend your arms wide to either side. And then just start to let your hips rock from side to side. So kind of like that right foot is coming to the mat and then the right knee is coming to the mat. And in doing this, you should start to feel a little twist in the spine. And then gently coming back through center, you can place the right leg back on the mat, extend the left leg long, reach the foot up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, start to lower the leg. And again, moving with the breath, inhale as you lift the leg up, exhale as you press it back down. And just take a couple more rounds like that, stretching out the back of that left leg. And pausing the next time the leg is lifted, bring the hands behind the thigh or the calf. Start to draw that leg towards you. You can always bend and straighten the knee if that feels good. Roll out the ankles or walking the hands up the leg. Start to draw that left knee towards your nose. Gently lowering the head back down to the mat. The left foot is going to come to the right knee. And let's find that little side to side rock again. So the arms extend to either side, and then you can just rock those hips from one side to the other. If it feels really good in one spot, maybe you pause and take a breath or two there before going back to the other side. And then as you make your way back through center, that left foot can come onto the mat. Bring your hands behind your thighs. You can kind of lift the knees up a little bit, and then rock yourself all the way up to your seated position, coming so that you are in a cross-legged seat with your hands on your knees. Take that little side-to-side rock as you ground yourself down, sitting up nice and tall so the tailbone is pressing down, the spine starts to get long. Take a breath in and lift the shoulders up. Exhale, let them roll down the back. So feel yourself sitting up a little taller as you do that. And we'll do it 2 more times. Inhale, lift the shoulders forward and up. Exhale, release down the back. 1 more time, let's hold it for a moment, create a little tightness, a little tension. And then big exaggerated exhale, let it go. Each time you kind of get a little taller, feel that spine lengthening. And then take your right hand to the top of your head. Just gently start to press that right ear down towards your right shoulder. So we're getting a little stretch on the left side of the neck. The shoulders are relaxing and that right ear is just gently pressing down, using that hand to get a little bit of a deeper stretch, but not pulling or tugging or forcing, just kind of a little added weight. And then gently releasing the right hand, you can bring that left ear towards the left shoulder, and the left hand comes to the top of the head. So now we're getting that little stretch on the right side of the neck, relaxing both shoulders, and just drawing that left ear down. And then again, slowly lifting the head back up, coming through a nice neutral spine. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, interlacing your hands under your toes. Sit up nice and tall as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, folding forward, pressing the elbows into the shins, thinking about creating that length in the spine. So think about the spine staying relatively straight and just sort of pressing the chest forward. On the next inhale, go ahead and sit back up. Extend both legs long, finding a wide-legged seated position. So making a big V shape with the legs flexing through the toes. And then as you inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, the right hand is going to come to the right shin. The left fingertips are going to start to reach, almost like they're trying to reach over the right toes. So we're getting a little side stretch here through the left side of the body. As you reach that left arm, see if you can look up towards the sky, continuing to flex through the feet. And then on the next inhale, all the way back up, get really nice and tall. And then take it over to the other side. That left hand comes down, the right fingertips start to reach. See if you can look up towards the sky under that right arm. Good. Taking about 2 more breaths like that. And then on the next inhale, coming back through center, lifting all the way up. As you exhale, fold it forward, walking the hands away from the body. So as always here, this is a pretty deep stretch. So even if you're just leaning forward an inch or 2, that's plenty. The idea is that you're creating that length and that space in the back of the body, that you're breathing, and maybe coming a little further as you hold it. So take a breath in, see if you can lengthen through the back of the body, maybe sit up a little taller. And then as you exhale, see if you can fold just a little bit further. Maybe even do that 1 more time and take a breath in, lengthen through the back of the body. And then as you exhale, fold. And then slowly starting to walk the hands back towards you as you lift the upper body up. Take your hands and just gently press the legs back together. You can kind of tap the bottoms of the backs of the legs on the mat a little bit. And we're going to take the left foot into the right inner thigh so that right leg is staying nice and straight. Flex to the right toes. Take your breath in, lift the arms up, and then as you exhale, fold over that right leg. If it feels better to bend that right knee, you can bend that right knee. Hands can be resting on the floor, on the shin, on the foot, wherever it feels most comfortable, but still thinking about that flat back. So Taking that breath in, straightening the spine, and then pressing kind of the chest down. On the next inhale, go ahead and lift it back up. We're going to take the left foot, place it on the right knee, kind of like we were doing when we were lying on our backs, but now we're sitting. Hands are at the sides of the body. Sit up nice and tall, so use your hands to sort of straighten out through the spine a little bit. If you're feeling a stretch in your hip, you're going to stay right here. If you're not feeling it yet, the right foot comes onto the mat. You might feel it now. If you're still not feeling it, the right foot can continue to walk towards the body, or maybe you lift your hips up and walk them towards that right foot until eventually your left hip feels like it's in a good enough stretch. So challenging without hurting is probably a good way of describing it. You want to feel something in that left hip, but that something shouldn't be pain. So we'll take 2 or 3 more breaths here. You can even close your eyes. And then slowly starting to slide that right foot back down onto the mat if you had it lifted. The left foot is going to come right to the outside of the right knee. So you're crossing the left leg over the right. Left hand comes to the side of the body. As you inhale, right fingertips lift up. As you exhale, twist to the left. Hooking that right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Take a breath in as you sit up really nice and tall. And then as you exhale, twist a little bit further. Looking towards that left shoulder, maybe towards the back of the room, the back of your mat. And then gently coming back through center. You can take it over to the other side for just a breath, sort of unraveling a little bit. And then again, come back through center. Left leg extends. Tap the backs of the legs on the mat as you kind of stretch out the backs a little bit. And then the right foot is going to come into the left inner thigh. Flex through the left toes, turn so that your hips are sort of square to that left leg. As you inhale, the arms lift up. As you exhale, fold forward. Same thing as we did on the other side. Think about lengthening through that spine and then folding. Inhale, lengthens. Exhale, folds into that space you created. And then slowly starting to walk the hands back towards the body as you come back up to your seated position. The right foot will come to the left knee. Flex through both feet here. Really engaging that right foot. Hands come to the side of the body as you sit up nice and tall. And then again, you decide if you're feeling this already, you're just going to stay here and that's perfect. If you're not feeling it yet, the left foot can come to the mat. Continuing to sit up nice and tall. Maybe walking that left foot a little closer to you. Breathing, maybe allowing the eyes to close. Even rock the hips from side to side a little bit if that feels good too. And then gently that left leg will slide back down onto the mat. You can release the right leg. And let's come up into our tabletop position. So flipping over onto your hands and your knees. Bringing the knees under the hips, the wrists under the shoulders. Starting with a nice flat back. And then as you inhale, release the stomach down. Keep your gaze up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, round the back. Go ahead and take a couple rounds of your cat and cow. Moving with your breath. So you guys know by now that really move in a way that feels good for you. If you're looking at my screen, you can see my cats have been going crazy. I'm trying to get them out away. We're taking about 2 or 3 more rounds just like that. And then from here, coming back through a neutral spine, finishing that round that you're on, we're gonna tuck our toes and you're just gonna start to sit back on your heels. So the toes are tucked under, your hips are on your heels. Your hands can stay right here on the mat. The idea is that we're stretching through the bottoms of the feet. So see how that feels. If you think you can lift the hands up off the mat, you can bring your hands to your thighs and just kind of sit up a little taller, relaxing through the shoulders. This is a deep stretch in the bottoms of the toes. So if that's a lot, that's why we keep our hands on the mat. You can kind of take some of that pressure off your feet by using my hands. So see how that feels. We're going to take 2 or 3 more breaths here. And then slowly bringing your hands back down to the mat if they weren't there already. Untuck the toes. You can tap the tops of your feet on the mat. Kind of rock your hips from side to side a little, or your heels, your hips too. And then we're gonna sit back. So you can either sit back right on your heels. If kneeling like this doesn't feel comfortable, just lift yourself up a little bit. Either way is fine. And then we're gonna extend our arms out in front of us and just start to make circles with your wrists. So taking a couple circles in one direction, couple circles back in the other direction. Extend the right arm long with the fingertips up towards the sky. Take your left hand and just draw the right fingertips towards you so you're getting a nice stretch from the bottom of the right wrist. And then go ahead and press the right fingertips down towards the mat. Take that left hand and just draw the top of the hand towards you so that stretches in the top of the wrist. And then doing the same thing on the other side, the left fingertips press up towards the ceiling first. Draw those left fingertips towards you. And then press the left hand down. Giving those wrists a little attention before we work them out a little bit. And then stretching out both hands, shaking out both hands, just kind of let all that go. And we'll make our way into our first downward facing dog. So coming back into your tabletop first, tuck your toes, straighten your legs, finding your downward facing dog. And as always, move here as much as you need to start to feel comfortable. So lifting up the heels one at a time, press them back down onto the mat. Bend the knees, almost like you're bringing your stomach to your thighs, and then straighten your legs. Rock the hips out from side to side. Shake the head out, yes and no. And then we're going to find our plank position. So like a wave, take a breath in and think about rolling the body forward, finding a plank, tucking that tailbone, and then exhale back to your downward facing dog. We're going to do that 2 more times with your own breath. Inhale as you roll it forward. Exhale sends it back. And then again, once more. Inhale rolls it forward. Exhale back to downward facing dog. This time, take your gaze towards your hands. Go ahead and walk your feet to the top of your mat, finding a forward fold. Your feet can be about hips width distance. Hands can be wherever it feels comfortable. So you can hold on to opposite elbows. You can bring your hands behind your legs and sort of draw yourself towards your legs. You can bring your hands behind your head, draw the head towards the mat. Your knees can be bent as much as it feels comfortable. Sometimes you get a deeper stretch when you actually allow the knees to bend a little bit because you give yourself more room to fold forward. And then go ahead and release the arms, let them hang like a rag doll. And one vertebrae at a time, we're going to start to lift all the way up. So slowly coming up to a standing position, reaching the arms overhead, maybe bending back a little bit if that feels comfortable. And then your hands are going to come to heart center. And we're going to take a little flow from here. So on the next inhale, you're going to reach the arms back up overhead. As you exhale, fold it forward, big swan dive down. Inhale, hands come to the shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifts it all the way back up, come to standing. Exhale, hands come to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift it up, lengthening. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, create that length as you bring your hands to your shins, flatten the back. Exhale, forward fold a little deeper than you did before. And then inhale, lifts it all the way up again. And hands come to heart center. Good. Let's go ahead and reach the arms overhead one more time. This time you're going to take your right hand, reach it behind you. Left arm reaches in front of you. So we're in opposite directions. You're going to look back at that right hand. See if you can keep your hips pressing forward. And you're looking back towards that right arm. So you're kind of opening up through the chest, but the hips are still reaching towards the top of your mat. On the next inhale, arms are going to come back up through center, so you kind of unravel. And then as you exhale, take it over to the other side. So the left arm comes behind you, right arm comes in front of you. Hips are still facing forward. Take your gaze towards that left arm. So really think about relaxing the shoulders and opening up through the chest and upper body. Let's do that 2 more times on each side. So inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, take it over to the right, looking towards the right fingertips. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale to the left. And again, inhale, lift it up. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Exhale left. And then inhale, arms can come up overhead. This time as you exhale, dive it back down, forward fold. Bringing your hands to the mat this time, we're gonna step it back to our downward facing dog. So go ahead and take one giant step or a couple little steps as you make your way back into your downward facing dog. From here, we're gonna come into a three-legged dog. The right leg is gonna lift. Point the toes towards the ceiling or towards the back of the room. Doesn't matter how high the leg is lifted, just challenge yourself to get it up off the mat. And then from here, we're coming to a low lunge. So this is always a little trickier. You're gonna draw the right knee towards the nose and then step it between the hands. If that feels like a terrible plan, come down onto your knees first and then step the right foot forward. Either way, we're coming to this low lunge shape. The left hand is gonna stay where it is. As you exhale, the right arm is gonna lift up. So start to look up towards that right hand, kind of opening up through the side of the body. And then gently placing that right hand back down on the mat. That left knee is gonna come down, untuck the toes. As you exhale, press the hips back, straighten out through the right leg. So think about almost like a forward fold. We're folding over that right leg. And then on the next inhale, you're gonna re-bend the right knee, start to press the hips forward and try to lift up through the upper body. So your hands can be on the floor. I know I've suggested books or blocks before if the ground feels far away, but something that allows you to kind of open up through the front. And then exhale back to that fold. Hips go back, straighten the right leg. Continuing to move here with your breath. So maybe you feel like you need to go really, really fast. Do that. Maybe you feel like you need to pause in one of these positions and take a couple breaths there. That's fine too. So really just moving in a way that helps you release some of that tension and tightness in your hips. That's the idea. The next time you come forward, we're gonna find a crescent lunge or Anjaneyasana. So your hands can come to the right knee. Really think about pressing those hips down and then maybe lifting the arms up, relaxing the shoulders as you look up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Nice big smile on your face. And then slowly bringing your hands back to frame out that right foot. We're gonna come back to that lunge with that left leg lifted. So tuck your toes, straighten the left leg. We're gonna make our way back to our downward facing dog. So the right foot steps back to meet the left. Take a breath, settle in. Maybe you need to come down onto the knees and then find your down dog. And we're gonna take it over to the other side. So the left leg is gonna lift, point the toes towards the back of the room. Look forward as you start to draw that left knee forward. Step the left foot in between your hands. Maybe use the left arm to scooch that left foot up a little bit. The right hand is gonna stay down. As you exhale, left arm lifts up. Twist to the left side now. Rolling that left shoulder open as you look up towards the hands. And then slowly placing the left hand back down on the mat. That right knee comes down, the right toes untuck. Exhale, straightens the left leg as you fold over the left leg. The hips press towards the back of your mat. And then continue to move here. Inhale, presses it forward, lifting up through the upper body. Exhale, send it back. Couple more times, forwards and backwards, side to side, whatever feels good for that hip. Maybe even bringing your hand to the leg and massaging it a little bit. Always doing what feels best for you. The next time you come forward, we'll find that crescent lunge shape. So the hips continue to press down, hands come to the knee as the upper body lifts, and then the arms can reach overhead. Relaxing through the shoulders. Think about lengthening through the whole upper body so we're not compressing the spine so much as lifting up. Think about more lifting than crunching. And then gently placing the left hands down on the mat, framing out that left foot. Let's tuck the right toes, straighten the right leg, and step that left foot back to meet the right, back to your downward facing dog. From here, we're all gonna lower it down into our tabletop. So if you were already there, you can stay there, knees coming back to the mat. Let's Extend the right leg long, point the toes towards the back of the room. Reach the left fingertips in front of you. Find your balance here. And then on the next inhale, draw that left knee, or right knee, I'm sorry, and left elbow together. Give it a little kiss. Exhale, extend it long. Do that 2 more times with your breath. Opposite knee, opposite elbow come together. Exhale, extend it long. And 1 more time, draw it all in, round that back. Exhale, extend it long, pausing here. Right knee bends, point the toes towards the ceiling. Left arm is gonna start to reach back for that right knee. Doesn't matter if you have it or not. If you're just reaching, work on lifting up through the chest so the upper body lifts a little more. Bend that right knee a little more. If you have it, grab the top of the foot and press it away from the body. And then slowly re-extend the arm and the leg, bringing both back down to the mat. They were lifted for a while, so take a breath, maybe shake the hips out from side to side a little bit, let that go. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, starting with lifting the left toes, point them towards the back of the room. Find your balance here, and then the right arm lifts, opposite arm, opposite leg. Take your breath in, draw the knee, the elbow, the nose together. Exhale, extend it long. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale, draw it in. Exhale, extend it long. 1 more time. Inhale, nose, knee, elbow together. Exhale, extend it long. Pause here, and then that left knee bends, pointing the toes towards the ceiling, or really think about pointing them towards the head eventually. And then the right arm is going to reach back. See if you can grab the top of that left foot. If you don't have it, again, think lifting and reaching. And then slowly go ahead and re-extend the arm and leg, bring both back down to the mat, shake them out a little bit, and then make your way back to your downward facing dog. Tucking the toes, straightening out the legs, and notice how it feels this time. Every time we come here, it's a little different. Maybe it feels good, maybe you feel tight, maybe you feel tired. Just acknowledging. And then go ahead and take your gaze towards your hands. Start to walk the feet towards the top of the mat, coming back to a forward fold. Little halfway lift for space. Hands can come to shins as you exhale, fold. And then on the next inhale, lift it all the way up. Reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands can come to the sides of the body. So we're standing at the top of the mat. We're going to step the left foot back, setting up for a warrior 1. So probably 4 or 5 feet behind you. Your hips are facing the top of your mat. Your right foot is facing forward. That back foot is about a 45-degree angle. Taking a breath in, lifting the arms up, and then exhaling as you bend into that right knee. So keep pressing that left hip forward. It's going to want to kind of be behind the right hip a little bit, but see if you can square them off so they're both in a line. See if you can bend into that right knee a little bit more, relaxing the shoulders. From here, we're going to open up into our warrior 2. So the right hand is going to reach forward, the left hand reaches back, that left foot comes in a little bit. So now that left foot is parallel to the back of the mat rather than that 90 or that 45-degree angle. Taking your gaze to the front hand, that right middle finger. Continuing to bend into that right knee. We're going to flip the right palm. Reach the right hand forward so the upper body's kind of leaning forward a little bit, giving yourself a little more length. And then that right hand is going to come up and over your head. The left hand comes to the back of the left leg as you reach the right fingertips behind you. Still bending into that right knee. This is called Peaceful Warrior. And the next inhale back to your warrior 2. And then straighten the right leg. That should feel good. Again, right fingertips are going to reach forward, so creating that length again. And then this time, triangle pose, Trikonasana. The right hand comes down, the left arm lifts up towards the ceiling. As you look towards that left hand, think about creating one straight line from the left hand to the right hand. So sometimes that left arm is reaching forward or reaching back. See if you can reach it straight up towards the ceiling.
And then as you engage your stomach, your core, slowly start to lift it all the way back up. Turn the right toes to face the side of the mat. Reach your arms overhead as you inhale. As you exhale, wide-legged forward fold. As always, do whatever feels good here. So that could be rocking side to side, bending one knee and then the other. You know what feels good, so go ahead and play around. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to start to walk our hands to frame out that right foot. This is kind of a trickier transition. We're going to try to come to a low lunge again, like we were before. So spinning the toes to face the top of the mat, you're in a low lunge with that right leg forward. Okay, little challenge, so give it a shot. And then from here, we're going to come back to standing. So the right foot is going to, or the left foot steps up to meet the right. Now you're in a forward fold. And you can go ahead and lift it all the way back up. And exhale, hands to the sides of the body. Good. Coming back to the top of the mat if you weren't there already, we're going to step the right foot back this time, setting up for that warrior two, or warrior one, I'm sorry. So your hips are facing forward, 45-degree angle with that back foot. As you inhale, lift the arms up. As you exhale, bend into that left knee. Noticing if you need to adjust a little bit as you come into it. Sometimes you might need to step that back leg back even further. Go ahead and do that. Pressing down through the outer edge of that right foot. Taking a nice breath, feeling that strength. This is such a powerful pose. You're using every muscle in your body, so give yourself a little credit for having the strength and ability to do that. It's not easy. Let's start to make our way into our warrior two. So the left arm comes forward, the right arm comes back, that back foot spins in a little bit to find that parallel line with the back of the mat. Take your gaze towards the front center finger as you relax your shoulders, continuing to bend into that knee. And let's start to find our peaceful warrior. So the left palm flips up, reach the left fingertips forward, and then up and overhead goes that left arm as the right hand rests gently on the back of the right leg. So not pressing hard into the knee, be really gentle with that right hand. It's really just gently touching it. On the next inhale, back to your warrior two, so the arms extend long. And then go ahead and straighten the left leg, reach the left fingertips forward, creating that length. And then find your triangle pose again. Left arm comes down, right arm comes up. See if you can make that straight line from left fingertips to right fingertips. And then as you engage the core, slowly start to lift it all the way back up. Turn the left toes to face the side of your mat. Take a breath in as you reach the arms up. And one more time, exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Maybe this time you walk your hands really far out in front of you. Always reminds me of like a wide-legged downward dog. Or you can walk your hands really far behind you. Kind of like almost like you're trying to draw the top of your head towards the mat. Or you can just rock from side to side. Whatever feels good. And then again, we're going to start to find that low lunge. So go ahead and begin to walk your hands over to the left foot this time, spinning so that you're facing the top of your mat. And then when you're ready, the right foot steps up to meet the left, forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, lifts it all the way up, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, your hands can come to the sides of your body. Shake it out a little bit, maybe give the arms a little shake or rock from side to side. And then come so that you're standing with your feet about mat's width distance, the short side of your mat, so a little wider than hips width. Take a breath as you lift the arms up. As you exhale, fold it forward. You're going to bend your knees as much as you need so that you can take your two little peace fingers, the fingers you make a peace sign with, and try to wrap them around your big toes. So again, the knees can be really bent here. The idea is that you're creating that connection with the toes so that you can sort of draw the upper body down a little bit more, using that connection to get a nice deep stretch through the back of the body. And then releasing the toes, you kind of shake your hands out a little bit. Place your left fingertips in front of the left toes. Put a bend in that left knee if you need to get that hand to the mat, or also grab a block or something to rest that left hand on. As you inhale, the right arm is gonna peel up and you're gonna look towards the ceiling, towards the sky, towards that right hand. If you want to add on, we can turn it into a little bit of a bind by taking that right hand behind the body towards the left hip. So you're kind of wrapping the right arm behind the body, continuing to look up towards the ceiling. And then gently lifting the right hand back up. And go ahead and place the right hand in front of your right toes. Put a little bend in the right knee. On the next breath, the left arm lifts up. So now you're looking up towards that left hand, rolling that left shoulder open. And if you did so on the other side, you can bend the left elbow, start to bring that left hand towards the right hip, creating that bind again, or a little twist behind the body. And then on the next inhale, the left arm lifts up. And go ahead and bring the left hand back down to the mat. And then slowly, you can bring your hands to your shins as you lift yourself all the way back up and walk the feet back together at the top of your mat. On the next breath, let's lift the arms up, reach the hands overhead. As you exhale, forward fold, big dive down. And let's come back to our downward facing dog. So go ahead and start to walk the feet. Hands on my mat. Go ahead and walk your feet to the back of your mat. Taking a breath in your down dog as you continue to press the hips up and back. Take your gaze towards your thighs. The heels are pressing down. And then we're going to come into our pigeon from here. So I always like to give the choice. If you like to come into your pigeon from down dog, you can. If you like to do it from your knees, you can do that as well. So either staying right here or lowering down onto your knees. Either way, we're gonna lift that right leg and then start to bring the right knee behind the right wrist. The left leg is going to extend long. So you're pressing the top of the left foot into the mat. That right foot can start to draw towards the body a little bit as you lift up through the front of the body. And then as you exhale, start to lower yourself down. Taking the time to settle in here. We're going to be here for a couple of breaths. So doing whatever it is you need to start to get a little more comfortable in this pose. Maybe not the most comfortable ever, but more comfortable. Find something to rest your head on, whether it's stacking your fists or a pillow or anything at all to kind of take some of that pressure off the shoulders and the neck. Flexing through that right foot, maybe adjusting a little bit so that a little more weight is pressing down to the left side so that you're not completely leaning to the right. And then just start to slow down your breath a little bit. We're not moving here, so you don't have to worry about paying attention to what comes next. You can really just focus on taking those long, deep, full, intentional breaths. About 2 or 3 more on this side. And then slowly beginning to walk the hands up towards the body, lifting up through the upper body. And so again, you can either step it back to your downward facing dog or back to kneeling. So if you're going back to tabletop, that right knee would just swing back to meet the left. If you're going back to down dog, you would step that right foot back to meet the left in your down dog. Wherever you are, that left leg is going to lift, point the toes towards the back of the room, and then start to draw the left knee behind the left wrist, getting ready for your pigeon on the other side. So that right leg extends long, flex through the left toes. I always like to rock a little bit from side to side on my hips to kind of settle in a little bit, maybe even lifting up and lowering down with the upper body. And then eventually, once you feel like you've created enough space to work with, you can start to lower yourself all the way down, finding whatever it is you are using to rest your head on. Make any adjustments, shifting the weight a little more to the right side. And then again, go ahead and settle in. And slowly starting to walk the hands back towards the body as you press the upper body up. We're gonna tuck the right toes, step it back either to that down dog or the tabletop. Doesn't matter because we're all coming back down to our seated position anyway. So either from your down dog or from the seated position or from the tabletop, come to a seated position. Words are hard tonight. Go ahead and extend your legs long. Once you find a seated position, rock it out from side to side a little bit, flexing through the bottoms of the feet. So almost like you're trying to make an L shape with your body. You're sitting up really tall, your feet are really engaged, your legs are strong. Take a breath in as you lift up through the arms, and then as you exhale, start to fold it forward. You can put a little bend in the knees if that feels good, maybe bringing your hands to the shins or to the bottoms of the feet. And just sort of let go, let that upper body kind of fold over the lower half of your body. The next inhale, slowly starting to lift it up, coming back to your seated position. Slide so that your feet are at the top of your mat, so you're not gonna roll yourself off. Before we take it all the way down, let's do one more little core exercise. We're gonna take a inclined plane. So your hands are gonna come to the sides of your body. Your fingertips can either be facing forward or behind you. Once you put them down, you'll kind of know which one feels more comfortable to you. I like mine facing forward. So sit up nice and tall, press the hands into the mat. And on the next inhale, you're gonna start to press the hips up. You might need to walk your feet away from you a little bit, kind of like a reverse plank. If it feels comfortable, you can let your head release back. If that does not feel comfortable, just continue to look forward, pointing the toes. We're gonna hold this for 3 more breaths. And then slowly go ahead and peel the body back down onto the mat. Let's bend the knees a little bit. Give yourself a little hug, rounding the back over the knees, maybe a little rock from side to side. And then sitting up nice and tall, straighten the legs one more time. And now we can go ahead and roll all the way down onto the mat. So one vertebrae at a time, start to lower yourself down. Find a nice big full body stretch. Once you arrive, take a deep breath in, reach the arms overhead. Big cleansing breath, exhale as you let it out. Good. And let's start to find our bridge pose. So the knees are going to bend. Bring the feet to the base of the spine. Hands come to the sides of the body. And as you inhale, start to press the hips up, lifting up through the hips. Hands can press into the mat, or you can start to wiggle the shoulders under the body a little bit, and maybe you interlace your hands under your tailbone. So your choice. You can either have that interlace, or just keep pressing your hands into the mat. Strong through the thighs, so the legs aren't just loose, but they're engaged, they're supporting you. I'm taking about 3 more breaths here. And then slowly starting to peel the spine back down on the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Let the knees rock from side to side. And we're gonna do that again. So go ahead and stretch out the spine a little bit and then set yourself up for a second back bend. On the next inhale, the hips start to peel back up off the mat, maybe pressing them up a little higher than they were the first time. Continuing to engage through the thighs, relaxing the glutes a little bit. So it's really the core that's doing the work. And then again, slowly lowering yourself all the way back down onto the mat. Knees can rock from side to side a little bit. And then go ahead and draw the knees back in towards you, giving yourself a little hug. Maybe lifting your head up off the mat, coming into a little ball shape. Placing the head back down onto the mat as we start to make our way into our inversion. So as always, it's up to you how you want to get your feet up in the air. If you like to slide over to a wall and lean your legs against the wall, the backs of your legs, you can do that. If you like to do it a little more active without the wall, right where you are, feet can come up into the air. And then your hands can either come under your tailbone, so kind of shifting the support, I guess. Or hands can also come behind the legs. So if it feels good to kind of hold on to the thighs, you can do that as well, whichever feels most comfortable or just challenging enough. And we're gonna hold this for about 7 to 10 breaths. So again, a little bit of a longer pose allows you that time to really focus on the breath, really focus on things other than what you're doing in the pose. So sort of noticing what thoughts you might be holding on to that you don't need right now. Try to make a conscious effort to let them go. If you're thinking about how it doesn't feel comfortable, or you're not good, or you don't like it, or you can't do it, all those kinds of thoughts are not helping at all. So if you notice them, you can let them go and say, I am doing this, I can do this, I'm good at this. Or maybe you just think about that intention that you set. And then slowly, let's start to draw the knees back in towards us, wrapping your arms around your shins one last time, a little side to side rock. And then we'll find a twist as you bring your arms out to either side. Let the knees release to the right. You can take your gaze to the left, or you can look up towards the ceiling, whichever feels more comfortable. But just allowing the legs to just kind of relax wherever they are. You don't need to force anything, just kind of letting them land where they will. And then on the next inhale, slowly coming back through center with your knees, go ahead and take them over to the left side. So the knees release to the left. Maybe the gaze comes to the right if it's not up towards the ceiling. You can start to close the eyes if they're not there already. Relaxing through the right shoulder. And then on the next inhale, knees come back through center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees release out to either side on the mat. As you just start to settle into one of our final poses of the evening, hands can rest on the inner thighs or on the stomach. Shoulders are softly melting into the mat as you just start to let go. Letting yourself kind of sink into your mat so that you're not like holding anything or tensing anything. You're just relaxing and melting down into that mat. Letting that breath start to just move freely. So if you were really paying attention to your inhales and your exhales, you can kind of let that go and just let the breath do what it does. And if this feels comfortable and you want to stay right here for the rest of your class, you are welcome to end your practice right here. If you have another version of Shavasana that you would like, you can start to make your way into it now, maybe extending the legs, maybe coming onto your side, coming back up to a seated position, whatever speaks to you this evening, whatever version of Shavasana you would like to have as your last pose, go ahead and start to make your way there. And if there's any other movements that you need on the way, maybe a little extra twist or stretch, go ahead and do that. If you need a sip of water, or maybe a prop that allows you to feel more comfortable, like a blanket or a pillow or something like that, go ahead and do all of those things as you start to set yourself up. And then go ahead and begin to transition into your Shavasana, your final pose of the evening. Do a little body relaxation before we settle in. So bringing your awareness to your feet. Start to squeeze the feet really tightly, creating some tension, some tightness, like fists with the feet almost, curling the toes under. And then on an exhale, go ahead and relax through the bottoms of the feet. And then doing that same thing with the legs, the whole lower half of the body, squeezing the thighs, the shins, the calves, the glutes, everything gets really tight, really tense as you hold on to it for a few more seconds, squeezing. And then finally, big exhale relaxes the lower half of the body, feeling the legs start to soften, start to let go. And then bringing your awareness to your hands, making fists with your hands, squeezing your biceps, your triceps, drawing the shoulders up towards your ears. All that tension that you just created in the lower half of the body, start to create that in the upper body, the arms. Holding for just a little longer. And then again, on the exhale, relax, letting the shoulders start to melt away from the ears, the hands softly open. Your palms can be pressing down into the mat or facing up softly at the sides of your body. Bring your awareness to your stomach. Start to squeeze your stomach really tight, creating some tension, preparing for a sit-up. So that really tightness, holding on to it just a little longer. And then again, as you exhale, relax. Start to notice how much easier it is to breathe, the rise and fall of the stomach. And then last but not least, bring your awareness to your head. Start to squeeze your eyes really shut tightly. Start to maybe lift your head up off the mat a little bit, wrinkle your forehead, make a funny face. Holding it for just a little longer. And then gently letting all of that tension dissolve, melt into the mat, let the head melt into the mat. Feeling the skin around the eyes and the jaw start to release and relax and soften. Maybe you notice something is still a little tight and you need to repeat that on your arm or your shoulder. And eventually settling in to your Shavasana. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Gently starting to bring your awareness back to your body, starting with the fingers and the toes, really tiny movements, the wrists and the ankles. Maybe a full body stretch if that feels good, reaching the arms overhead, straightening the legs if they were bent, maybe bending the knees if they were straight. You can roll onto one side if that feels comfortable, resting your head on your arm with the knees bent in a fetal position, or just stay right where you are for a few more moments. Taking these last few moments here on your mat to just say thank you for, again, making this a priority. Every time you come to your mat, you're making another choice to do something that's so good for you. So every time, say thank you to yourself for continuing to do that. When you're ready, you can slowly start to make your way back up to a seated position by gently pressing your hands into the mat, beginning to lift yourself up if you're not there already, bringing your hands to heart center. As always, I'm so grateful for you for joining me tonight, for bringing your energy and sharing it with us virtually. I hope you have the most beautiful evening, great week, weekend, all of that. Until I see you again, namaste. Have a great night, guys.